New tonight, a woman arrested after two shootings in central Baltimore, one where she allegedly shot at an off-duty police officer.
Marylanders wake up to a winter wonderland with some areas seeing a few inches of snow.
And critics say a citation docket to tackle quality of life crimes isn't really being used by police. The state's attorney's office voicing their frustration about the lack of numbers.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
New tonight, a 35-year-old woman is in custody after two shootings in central Baltimore. It happened around 3:30 p.m. The suspect allegedly shot at a woman on the 100 block of East Redwood Street following a road rage incident, grazing the victim in the head.
Yeah, she then ran to the 400 block of East Baltimore Street, just blocks away from BPD headquarters. She allegedly shot at an off-duty BPD officer who returned fire. Neither the officer or the suspect were hit. Police quickly responded to the scene and took that suspect into custody.
Just after 3 p.m. today, police responding to reports of a shooting at the 200 block of Marion Street. Their officers found a man unresponsive with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital and is now in critical condition. Anyone with information is urged to contact police or call Metro Crime Stoppers at 1-866-7-LOCK-UP.
Well, some folks woke up to some snow this morning, with some spots getting up to a few inches.
On the top of your screen, you'll see a live look at the Inner Harbor and Towson, with most of that snow now cleared out, nowhere in sight. On the bottom, viewers Julian Robson in these pictures of the snow in their yards this morning, though.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Vincent Hill.
And I'm Maxine Stryker. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax joins us now. And Jasmine, what can we expect tonight?
Well, it's going to be a lot quieter, and it is going to be a nice and dry night following the snow that we had early this morning. Now that dumped a couple inches across parts of our area. We saw the highest totals, of course, to our north, some spots with close to 5 inches, and then farther south we saw the lowest totals. But this was the third time this year that we've had at least an inch of snow, and it's really making up for the lack of snow that we had last year. Now we are back to that nice and dry pattern, not much happening on the HD radar. That low pressure system that brought us snow is now well over the Atlantic, and we're in for a nice and dry start to the upcoming week. But we are going to have another cold night. Currently, we're seeing temperatures in the 20s and the 30s, and then tomorrow, a mild day. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at what to expect for the new week and when we'll have our next weather maker and my full forecast. Back to you.
Frustrations tonight over the effectiveness of the city's citation docket meant to tackle quality of life crimes. The state's attorney's office disappointed in the low number of citations police have issued since that docket took effect last year. At an oversight hearing earlier this week, we learned BPD has only issued 37 citations that have made it to court, and almost half are being rejected because of mistakes.
The question is whether or not the police department has prioritized this.
Well, now we are learning there's also frustration from the state's attorney's office with the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement. They're urging them to get on board on offering services with the future of the docket in jeopardy.
The city citation docket to tackle low-level crimes is struggling to make an impact.
We have a state's attorney who is willing to enforce these quality of life crimes.
The state's attorney's office remains steadfast
case and refer it to the state's attorney. Under the bill, that time will be cut down to 15 days. City State's Attorney Ivan Bates says he'd like to get cases from DJS even sooner than that.
forwarded the case to us. I would love to be able to be there day one with the intake. That way we can work with the police to put together a better case. 15 days I still feel is way too long.
And join us this Monday for a panel with Governor Moore, City State's Attorney Ivan Bates, and Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy, moderated by Armstrong Williams. They're set to discuss juvenile justice and the legislation needed to address it. That's this Monday, February 19th at 7 p.m. You can watch it right here on Fox 45 or streaming on our website, YouTube page, and BaltimoreSun.com. Former Governor Larry Hogan is running for U.S. Senate. We sit down with him for his first local television interview since announcing his campaign.
And should stealing a firearm be a felony? That's the question lawmakers set out to answer, with a growing number of residents supporting the move.
Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost sat down with former Governor Larry Hogan for his first local television interview since launching his campaign for U.S. Senate.
In a wide-ranging interview, Hogan talks about his stance on abortion, gun control, and the uphill battle he's facing.
The last time we were in this office, Larry Hogan was clear about his intentions.
I've never been very interested in the Senate, not any interest in the Senate, actually. I'm not really cut out to be a legislator.
Fast forward to now, he says he's in. So why would Marylanders vote for someone who doesn't really want the job in the first place?
Well, I want to go fix the problem. I'm not somebody that's just looking for another rung up the ladder. And there's nobody that kind of represents, my traditional wing of the Republican Party, who's willing to work across the aisle with Democrats.
Do you agree with the characterization that Mitch McConnell recruited you to run for Senate?
Well, look, he's been trying to convince me to do that since Senator Van Hollen's position was up, I guess, years ago. But there was one conversation back then, and there was one conversation here. None of that really convinced me to run. It's a little bit of a mischaracterization. Yes, I had one conversation with him. It wasn't convincing. It really came down to me making a decision last week. I can't keep complaining about how bad things are if I'm not willing to try to be part of the solution.
Abortion rights expected to be front and center in this race, especially since enshrining the right in Maryland's Constitution will be on the November ballot. On CNN Wednesday.
I understand why this is such an important and emotional issue for women.
Do you believe that abortion is an emotional issue, or is it a health care issue?
Maybe that wasn't the best choice of words. What I was actually trying to say was this is really important to women, and I understand that. But here's my position. I'm not I'm not black or white. And a lot of people, look, I'm not a person that says we should outlaw abortion. I'm not one that says there should be no restrictions whatsoever. I think most people are somewhere in the middle on that issue. Is as divisive as it is, I'm not going to vote for a national abortion ban, but when things are too far in one direction, I'm going to say, hey, I disagree with that.
Why did you withhold the $3.5 million for that?
I didn't think it made sense. I was against it, and I vetoed the bill.
Also a big topic in Washington, gun control. Hogan says he supports universal background checks.
So you say you support universal background checks for weapons?
Yes, always have.
You vetoed a bill in Maryland that would require background checks for the sale of rifle and shotguns.
Well, look, I was at the same while that was happening, pushing for tougher sentences for gun crimes. The legislature passed a bill about hunting rifles instead of addressing the illegal handguns that everybody's being shot with in the city of Baltimore. And it was cynical. It had nothing to do with gun control. And I don't know that anyone has ever been shot in Baltimore City with a hunting rifle. But they wouldn't fix the real problem, and they were just trying to throw up an issue.
The campaign now in full swing, and Hogan says he's up for the challenge.
I'm not taking anything for granted. I don't expect any coronation, not for the Democrats. I mean, I think they thought this race was over in May. We're going to give them the toughest fight of their life.
When it comes to the NRSC, did they try and convince you to run to get the Democrats to spend money in a state that they otherwise wouldn't have?
This is a big risk. I'm pushing in all my political capital for a race that, seemingly impossible, that most people don't think, in the middle of a crazy election. It had nothing to do with any other state. It was just my gut feeling that I needed to step up and try to do something.
In Annapolis, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Funerals held today for 2 of the 3 Army reservists killed in Jordan last month. How friends and family gathered to honor their memory. In Georgia, funerals were held today for 2 of the 3 Army reservists killed last month in a drone attack on a U.S. base in Jordan. Family and friends and military members gathered at Jonesville Baptist Church in Savannah to pay their respects to Sergeant Breanna Moffitt, who had just turned 23 the week before she died. At the same time, loved ones said their final goodbyes to Sergeant Kennedy Sanders in her hometown of Waycross. Fellow soldiers remembering the 24-year-old for her courage and dedication.
Behind her smile was a fierce determination and a profound sense of duty and purpose. She joined the ranks of her engineer company not merely as a soldier, but truly as a force to be reckoned with.
And thank you so much for your service. The funeral for the third victim, Staff Sergeant William Rivers, was held on Thursday. President Biden met with the families of the fallen soldiers when their remains were returned to U.S. soil earlier this month.
A band director inspires kids across Baltimore. How one champion of courage is bringing his community together through music.
Well, the snow may have cleared out, but some of us got to wake up to a few inches this morning.
Our viewers sent in these pictures of the snowfall from the city to the counties.
Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax joins us now. And Jasmine, we got any more snow coming in the future or no?
Not looking at much snow over the next several days, and that's because our temperatures are going to be well above average for this time of year. So we are talking a nice warm up for the upcoming week that you can expect. 30 for the current temperature, and we are quickly starting to see those numbers fall. We have nice and clear skies, but it is a little bit breezy. Winds are out of the west-northwest around 14 miles per hour. And notice that wind chill, just bitter. We'll see those numbers in the teens and the 20s overnight. Across the state, we're still seeing temperatures in the low 30s, some spots now in the 20s, but we are in for a nice and quiet night following the snow that we had to start the day today. Notice we will stay nice and dry, and as we head into the day tomorrow, we'll wake up to plenty of sunshine. Even into the afternoon, it looks great. Not much happening throughout the day, but you will notice the rise in temperatures as we reach the upper 40s and low 50s. Then as we make our way into Monday, we are still staying nice and quiet, and the temperatures are going to continue to rise. By the end of the week, we're looking at a spring-like warm-up. However, we're also talking the next weather maker. But again, with those temperatures well above average, we are only talking rain. 24 for the low temperature tonight. Will stay nice and mostly clear. Then tomorrow we're looking at high temperatures around 48. We'll have plenty of sunshine throughout the day, but it is going to be breezy. Notice winds out of the southwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 20